Let's get him in here. This beautiful. I just want to blow up the screen and look at him as large as possible, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this guy. Look at all the way from Australia, ladies and gentlemen, the absolutely beautiful, amazing, vivacious, voluptuous Fuzzy
Oh yeah,
Dan from Shaken Not Nerd. Look at this beautiful man. Thank you
yeah.
so
Got
so
shapes,
much.
baby.
Ah, you beautiful man. Welcome to the live stream for the Cure, brother. How are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm very well. I'm excited. I'm caffeinated and jazzed up and ready to go for this morning, this evening for you. But yes, I'm ready. I'm very excited to be part of this again. I think this is my third year.
Yep, yep.
So three in a row. So I love it, man. Love being part of it.
So please, if you will, take a moment before we get into the segment topic at hand here and let the audience know a little bit about what the Shaken Not Nerd podcast is all about, or as I like to call it, the genius that you somehow distill from the chaos that is Shaken Not Nerd.
Yeah. So Shaken Not Nerd, we talk about latest and greatest of movie releases that are coming out. It's been a bit of a dry few months now that nothing's coming out. So we're just going back and talking about old movies, but it's all pop culture news and new stuff that's coming out. It's really exciting. And we also do a podcast called Shaken Not Noob, which we started a couple of years ago, which is all about video games. So we get to talk about the latest and greatest video games. It's my favorite hobby apart from watching movies. So I love it. It's great. I get to do two podcasts a week talking about just absolute crap with some great mates. And it's awesome. That's the whole premise of the show. And there is a lot of chaos. A lot of chaos.
Again, I still don't believe Ian the Footlong Johnson is a real person. I don't believe that you did not make him up.
Oh mate, we can't make up half the shit that he gets up to, man. That guy is just loose. So it's how we like to keep it on the show, loose and fancy free.
That's exactly the way to keep it, my friend. So we're here. We're going to be talking about current gen gaming. We're going to be talking about next gen gaming, and we're just going to be having an absolute great time. We've known Fuzzy for God. I mean, it's so surreal to talk to podcasters now that I've known for literally like 4 or 5 years now, like people that I've known for so long from literally all across the planet.
Yeah.
I think back to a few years ago before I ever started any of this craziness, and it's amazing to just have connected with so many amazing people, and now to have multiple people. Dan Brenic, thank you for the $5 donation in there. But yeah, it's amazing to think about. So Fuzzy, you are the professional here. You are the professional. I play Minecraft literally 24/7 whenever I get a free moment, which is never for the last few weeks. But you're the professional here. You and Duty obviously do Shaken Not Noob, which is also a fantastic show. Love listening to you guys talk about games. Where do you want to start? How do you want to do everything here? Because this is your show, baby.
Absolutely. Well, look, I wanted to talk about this is all about the current gen of consoles because we are in the dying throes of this generation. We're about to get all these next gen consoles coming out. We've got the PS5 coming out this year. We've also got what I'm referring to as the Sexbox. It's that's the Xbox new generation, whatever they've just called. Fucking
Xbox
names are all
Series
weird.
X.
Yes, Sexbox. That's right. So
Nailed it.
so they're all coming out at the end of the year, and everyone's really excited about that. So I wanted to take a bit of a retrospective look at what we've been given in this current generation. So that goes back all the way to when the Wii U started, I think in 2012. So, but mostly I'm not going to be talking about any Wii U games because I kind of didn't like them. I'm mainly talking 2013 onwards. So anything that launched on this generation, so PS4, the Xbox One, if you've had a Switch, any of those console games, that's what we're talking about now.
So I just want to put in here really, really quickly before we get any further in the segment, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the hour, we are going to be doing the drawing for this gift set of Cooper's Cask Coffee. So everybody that's donated since 2 o'clock this afternoon is going to be entered. But if you haven't donated yet and you would like your chance to win this, it is very highly recommended by Jared Taylor, our one and only Destruction in Human Form. Please get a donation in there. Thank you so much for everybody who has donated, and I'll be drawing this again at the end of the hour. So it's kind of funny because when you mentioned you wanted to talk about gaming consoles especially, and you wanted to talk about current gen and talk a little bit about next gen and things of that nature, I haven't owned a current gen console. I bought an Xbox One back in the day, some way whenever, and at some point, I have a teenager who lives with me, and at some
Yep.
point, he just sort of inherited it, where I just didn't play it that much anymore because I started to get back hardcore into PC gaming, and so he just was like, lift, carry up to his room, So I honestly, like, I have not gotten enough into the current generation of gaming consoles. So Dan is
That's
much more
why
equipped.
I'm here.
Dan is much more equipped to talk about this than me. So I will let you two. I will let you two have it, and I will chime in whenever I feel I can throw something about Minecraft in there.
I'm sure we'll absolutely talk about Minecraft at
yeah.
some point
Oh,
in
yeah.
this conversation. So.
It's the best-selling game of all time. 200
It
million
is.
copies. Like,
It's fucking crazy how well that game's gone.
It's insane how
and it's
how
still
much
strong.
it has come
It's still
back.
strong.
The resurgence that it's experienced over the past like year and a half is just absolutely mind blowing. Like, I can't believe how big Minecraft is again. Like, it was big and then it went away for a few years and now it's just like, no baby, I'm back.
Yeah, well, I've got a 9-year-old in the house, so we affectionately call him Little Fuzz, and he's addicted to Minecraft. So it's Minecraft videos. There's YouTubers he's watching all the time. He's ever since being in isolation as well. It's been a way to catch up with all his mates. So they all catch up and they hang out and they play a couple hours of Minecraft every day, and they talk absolute garbage that I have no idea about. So you can be my Minecraft translation expert when
I
they
will
start
stand
talking about
by,
stuff.
willing and ready.
All right. Well, look, I'm going to kick things off. Like I've got a bunch of lists here that I'm going to go through today. I'm going to do a 3-2-1 for my favorite ones. I'm going to add in some honorable mentions, and then I'm also going to do a couple of mentions that came through from my Shaken Not Nerd crew. So I asked them, did a bit of a crowdsource so that I could get some info off them, and they've given me some names as well. So number 3 off my list, my top 3 list here, I'm going to go with a game called Dead Cells.
Yes.
Now this is a game that I've talked about at length on my Shaken Not Noob show. It's possibly one of my favorite indie game titles to be released in the last 10 years. It is absolutely amazing. For anyone who hasn't played it, it's a roguelike kind of game. So essentially what happens is you go through and you kind of, like, every time you run through the game, you have one life. And once that life is gone, you die and you start over again. And it is frustrating and mind-numbing, and it is just the most absolutely painful game that you could possibly play, but it's beautiful and it's awesome, and it just keeps me coming back for more. Have you played it, Dan? I think you might have had a crack at it at some stage.
So I actually got the Xbox Game Pass, and that was like, oh, this is the service I pay to demo games that I want to buy on my PS4. But like, I played a lot of it. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot like Rogue Legacy, which, like, I feel like brought back the roguelike genre to, I don't want to say prominence, but it was like something people thought about again. So Dead Cells took what Rogue Legacy did and went, all right, let's up the graphics a little bit. Let's include more gameplay elements to it. It's really fun. I really want to play it again.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's completely addictive. I got it originally on the Switch, and that became like my Switch game that I just continued to go back to. It was just, I took it away with me on holidays. I was playing it all the time. I got myself a Pro controller because the regular controllers were just shitty and not working.
Especially Drift.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff about like the drift at the moment with the thumbsticks.
Yep.
That's terrible. So I've had to replace those, but I've got the Pro controller. I bought it specifically for this game so I could get better at it because it just wasn't reacting fast enough. So it's such an awesome game. It's one of those games that will challenge you. It's very easy to learn but very difficult to master. And that's like the magic thing for games, right? So it's just awesome. I would highly recommend anyone who's interested in like little indie games, the pixel art, so the 8-bit graphics kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is the one
actually.
that will really nail it.
I consider it more 16-bit than 8-bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's gone into that little bit more. Yeah. But yes, it's still a beautiful game, and they keep updating it. They did a couple of updates at the start of this year. They did their first paid DLC as well. And it was worth it. It was worth paying an extra $15 for. It just extends the game, gives you new biomes and areas to go to, new enemies, new weapons, all the rest of it. And you just want to keep playing it. I still have not, after, what was this? It was 2017 where it came out. I still have not beaten it yet. So I've gotten up to, basically once you go through the game, you finish the end level, like the end of game boss, it goes back again to the start and it makes it harder. So you have to do that. You have to finish the game, essentially, finish the game 5 times before you actually finish it. And I've only done it 4 times and it's still going. So, so any game that's going to keep you interested for, 2 to 3 years, I mean, that's a big fucking win for me.
100%.
I mean, it's no Minecraft as far as, keeping you interested.
No.
So so that's my number 3 on the list. I think it's pretty awesome. I will talk about a game as well, like one of my honorable mentions that I've recently got back into, which is kind of like Minecraft in space for adults. It's a game called No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah.
Now, I don't know if you guys have played this.
I did. I played it at launch actually, and I was like, I like this. One of the 3 people that did that.
Oh, look, I was one of the fanboys. I was like one of the, I'm so excited for this. We're going around, travel through space in an 80s style spacecraft. And it sounded really cool at the time. And at launch, it just kind of didn't give us what we wanted it to be. So now that what they've done, though, is they've gone back. Hello Games and the director, Sean Murray, have gone back and they just keep making it better. To a point where they released the latest version, I think about 2 weeks ago, and it now gives you like mech suits in space, so you can build up these giant mechs and walk around. And it's so good! It's so good. I bought it again recently on PC so that I could play it again. But it is very much that sort of Minecraft idea of you go out and you farm resources and you combine the resources together to make something better. Then there's a whole trading system and all the rest of it, and you travel through space. It really is just one of these sort of endless possibilities games, which I kind of like as well. It gives you the freedom to create and develop your own game.
Those are the most beautiful kinds. Well, I have so much love for those kinds of games, and for those games that are just like a one-shot, like sit down. As long as it's a beautifully designed game, as long as it like you're living in a beautiful game world for a few hours, I'm all in. I'm all there for it.
Well, that's it, right? It's not one of those ones that I would say is the prettiest games in the world, but it is very much a stylistic choice that they've made, and like it just works. The aesthetic just works for me, and it's awesome. Just the idea, the technology behind it of this procedurally generated universe where anything could possibly happen. It's great. So yes, highly recommend getting back into it if you have a copy of it. I think it's pretty cheap, and it's coming to Games Pass as well, Dan. So if you...
I actually canceled Games Pass because I stopped playing so much on my Xbox, but I have it for my PlayStation 4. So
yeah, no, fair enough. I do want to talk about Games Pass as well. That's one of my honorable mentions. There's not a lot of games I would say that have been truly epic on the Xbox for this generation.
Yes, you're 100%.
And I. Like they've had some really good games come out, but not really ones that I would say are like top level stuff. Anything that's been really awesome on there has been multi-platform.
Yeah.
So nothing really stands out for me. But one of their big deliveries has been Game Pass, which I've gotten to recently, and man, it is probably one of the best paid game services that you can get. Every month you're just getting new things all the time, playing for as long as you want, chuck them out. Games that might be like $30 or $40 that you don't want to spend that money on, you just wait for it to come out on this, and they're really good.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, I just got to shout this out right now with a very, very special sound drop.
Oh!
Thank you very, very much. Colby Mack in the house. What up, what up? It's your boy, Colby Mack. $20 donation for cancer research. Thank you so much, Colby.
I did want to say, like, it forced Sony to really change what they were doing with PlayStation Now. Like, PlayStation Now is just like a kind of thing, and it forced them to improve the catalog. It forced them to move to downloads for current generation games. Like, we still have no idea what's going on with PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility because of the cell processor architecture, which will probably never become backwards compatible.
No, they don't want that. They don't want that at all. They make too much money out of people buying new stuff all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, no, like it is really, it's pushed how games are delivered to people, which is really awesome. Like it's very accessible. We used to have the like games with gold, PlayStation Plus. You get a couple of games every month, which is nice. But this service is just awesome. It gets new games to you like almost immediately. You get them on your PC as well, which is really good. So a couple of games that I've tried that I wouldn't normally spend cash on, but I've been able to try them and gone, that was a nice experience. I'm glad I didn't spend more than $15 a month on it.
Yeah, like I played Untitled Goose Game, and I was like,
yeah,
this is fun for about 20 minutes. I'm glad I didn't pay real money for this.
So shout out to Destruction in Human Form, Mr. Jared Taylor, $8.39, guys. He just kicked us to 67%, officially $6,700 for cancer research, guys, for a future immune to cancer. Make it rain in there, especially every dollar that you donate, Fuzzy will stroke his beard. So if you just keep donating, Fuzzy will just sit here on camera and stroke his beard. And I don't think there's anything more than any of us can ask than that. I mean, really.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's my beautiful ISO beard that I've been growing for the last 2 months. So, and talking to my bosses the other day, I'm not going to get back into the office probably this year. So it's going to get wizard-like.
Oh,
it's going to be amazing.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait. When are we getting those live videos of the live recordings of Shaken Not Nerd? Because I need those in my life.
Oh, man. Well, we're actually getting back to the studio this week, which is awesome. So they've eased restrictions here, which is awesome. Yeah, that's right. 32B Bignell Road, Moorabbin, at our head office there at Incognito Comics. So yeah, it's actually great because we haven't been hanging out a lot. We've been doing everything over Skype. So I'm excited to be leaving the house again. Yes, but yes. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we talked a bit about some of those other ones. I want to talk about my second on the list for games that for awesome games that have come out in this generation. And this one came out on the Switch. It's Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys like Zelda games. You like old school Zelda players?
Love them.
I played Link's Awakening. I didn't beat it, and I just stopped playing. Ocarina
of Time is one of the greatest games ever made. I will firmly stand by that. I know that's a very popular opinion, but it's a correct opinion.
It's okay to be popular or be popular with your opinions.
Yes. That's one of Nick's few popular opinions.
Listen. That's actually probably true. That's actually probably correct. Womp womp.
Yeah, no. Look, Zelda Breath of the Wild was a fantastic game. It was new Zelda. It's one of those games that you specifically go out and buy a console for. It's one of the you have to have this. If you own a Switch, you have to get Zelda. If you don't own a Switch, you buy it because Zelda's there. It's epically awesome. It is open world in the way that you want an open world RPG to be. It's so awesome. And I mean, I previously wasn't a Zelda guy. Like I had played them a few times, had enjoyed them, hadn't really gotten into Ocarina of Time. I know that's probably a controversial opinion. But yeah, I still love it. I think this game is one of the best that we saw in the past 10 years. This console generation, it's just been amazing.
The big discussion around the Switch was how underpowered it was compared to the Xbox One and the PS4, even though it was like mid-cycle generation console. Like you're like, oh wait, this isn't going to compete, and then it brings out Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it's like, oh, it can do this still. Well, fuck off, everybody else.
And that's been one of the awesome things about the Switch, right? It's probably my favorite console for this generation. Just because of what you can do. It's like they took away all of those fancy graphics and they went, okay, we can shade the cells slightly differently. We can make these things still epic and awesome. They just don't come out as highly HD graphic as the rest of them. But the stylistic choices they make it all that much better. So Zelda's proof in the pudding that they've done something right and they can make it work. I've had games come out like the latest Pokemon game. I don't know if you guys get into Pokemon games, like Sword and Shield.
I'm the one who asks all the Pokemon questions, Fuzzy. Don't you remember?
Yes, you are. I've seen Little Fuzz play through that. He's enjoyed that as well. And then again, stylistic choices that they made in that game made it possible for a massive game like that to be put onto a very small console. as well, they did one of the games I'll mention in my honorable mentions list, The Witcher 3.
Yep.
They did a port of that to the Switch recently. And that game was like, I think it was like 120 gigabytes on launch when it came out to the consoles. And they managed...
I think with all the DLCs, yes. I think it was still around 70 around on launch.
But they've combined all of that into this package for the Switch, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I had to buy extra SD card space for it, but
it's cheap now, it's fine.
But that's fine. Like it's still, you can still upgrade your machine to cope with the load that you get on there, which is awesome.
Well, right. The big problem with the Xbox One and the PS4 is that you have to like take it completely apart, put it in a brand new hard drive, put it back together, reinstall everything. With a Switch, it's like, remove this micro SD. All right, put in the new micro SD. All right, we're good to go. Which
I will say, just to that point, I would recommend doing that if anybody hasn't done that. I upgraded to an SD card on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So much better. It's just a little bit smoother on everything. It makes the experience just a little bit better. So, but yes, the Switch upgradable. It's a lot of fun. It's my console of the generation. I'm excited to see what they do next because it kind of feels like, as the other consoles come to this end of life, it's almost at that point as well, and they kind of need to do something else. They released the Switch Lite last year as their sort of midlife console, and that's fine. But I think they need to do that next thing as well. So it'll be exciting to see. Switch Pro with HD graphics.
Yeah, 720p in your hand. Yeah, please.
You can see all of those, Witcher bath times on public transport and beautiful HD graphics.
Hey, look at this. You can almost see his penis.
Look how sweaty he is.
So close.
All right, so that was Breath of the Wild. I want to talk about some other games that were in my honorable mentions list. There's probably a couple of here that I like to call bridging games. So they're released on the previous generation of consoles, and now they got re-released on here. So the first one would be Grand Theft Auto. So Grand Theft Auto 5.
Holy fuck, that game's a juggernaut. You listen to the MPD every month. It's on there every month.
Yeah. It's still big. It came out free on the Epic Games Store a couple of weeks ago. So I basically got it on that store. And played it on PC, and it's still awesome. It's still a really good game.
Yeah. The heist reinvigorated it. Like we stopped playing like a little bit after launch because we're like, all right, we've done everything. Then the heist came in, and like, fuck, I've been waiting for these heists.
Well, it's great too because it actually has like a huge like RP community too, where people use it just like as role playing on Twitch. Like I've followed a bunch of Twitch streamers, that just do like this huge like role playing like in the world on modded servers, non-modded servers, and what like it's great. I always love when you can just build up a really, really interactive kind of community like that around a game. It's always amazing.
It's a fantastic multiplayer game. It's still good as a single player game, like just the experience that you have. It's really awesome, and they keep continuing to update. Yes, they are making a absolute metric shit ton of money on this thing, and there's it's very much a pay to win kind of scenario. But there is still a lot of fun to be had in the grinding and the playing of all of those individual things that you can do. Like I spend a lot of time just doing races and just having fun with some of the wacky zany things that have been added to it since then. Got myself a Tron cycle the other day. I was very excited about that. It's just really cool. So GTA 5, definitely one of those bridging titles. We're likely to see some of those in this generation as well. So
100%.
The big release for this year, Last of Us, which was also Last of Us Part 2 is coming out this year. The Last of Us Part 1 was a bridging title.
I actually got the PS3 deal. Holy fuck!
Wow.
We're gonna drown here soon.
Goodbye, Fuzzy.
No, I got a PS3 deal, and that came with Last of Us. I hadn't played it, but then they announced the remaster, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just play it on my PS4. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, that was pretty awesome. So we got that. We're going to have Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out this year on the current gen consoles. They haven't announced it yet for the next gen, but I'm absolutely certain that it will be coming out on those next gens as well.
I because Xbox has a smart delivery thing, so I'm
Yeah.
wondering what that's gonna be like. Like, I wonder if they're just gonna, oh, here's the PS5 Xbox Series X patch, like, and that's it. And you don't have to buy it again. You just buy it once, and you get that patch, and you play it. I mean, if that's the case, I'm waiting.
No, well, look, I think what's going to happen, because this is CD Projekt Red, and when they do games, they do them right. They gave us The Witcher 3. They take time to get things the way that they really need it to. And this is, I think, what they'll do is they'll release it. There'll be backwards compatibility and all the rest of it. But then what they'll do is they'll do a proper rebuild and remaster for the current gen consoles. Yes, there's the porting, but I think they'll do a proper version of it. That's just how they work, man. They just operate on a different level from other gaming companies.
I don't know. That might be fine, and that might be what they do. But I don't know if that's what the consumer wants. I don't know if they want to spend $60 for a PS4 version, and then 3 months later, oh, here's the $60 PS5 version. I don't know if anyone wants that.
Yeah, I mean, I bought The Last of Us twice, so
sure.
That's some people are willing to do it, because when you play a good game, it doesn't matter how much it costs, you're just gonna buy it again. So
sure,
it's if it's there, it's there. So yes, GTA 5, big one for me. I'm also excited for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is absolutely hands down the best Assassin's Creed game that is available to you, and that came out previous gen console, and then came out again on the next gen. It's just awesome. I just love being a pirate. Oh yeah, I need more pirate based games.
Well, they announced Skull and Bones, but who the fuck knows when that's actually coming out. Ubisoft actually did something cool with that, where if you bought the previous gen console or previous gen game, you paid an extra $10 and you got the upgraded version, which was super consumer friendly. Totally understood it. Made perfect sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see something like that again, unless smart delivery is a real thing that people are oh, well, we expect different.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and coming from the guys that are making it, maybe they like to make cash. Let's put it that way.
I mean, they're no EA, but yes, you're right.
But yeah, we are seeing on the next gen of consoles. I'm very excited about the new Assassin's Creed game that's coming out. So that's going to be a launch title for the new consoles. It's called Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where you play a Viking. So that's kind of cool. Everyone's been trying to push them to do a game based in Japan for years.
Yes.
But yeah, this one, I think there's been a lot of games based in Japan that have really hit the mark, that sort of theme and the tone. And we've got Ghost of Tsushima coming out this year as well.
Sekiro.
Yeah, that's right. We've had Neo 2 come out as well this year, which was awesome. So I think they've really kind of pushed it to a different place, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to check that out when that launches this year.
Hey, Fuzzy, I don't want to alarm you, but there are peanut chews watching you. Super Mario Brother Dave is in the house.
Peanut chews! Still have no idea what a fucking peanut chew is, but they sound delicious.
Still one of the greatest movie drafts ever. You still hear Chris Brayton laughing from it today.
Man, that's infamous, right? That's an infamous
legitimately
podcast episode.
I'm pretty sure Brayton laughed for about 45 minutes to an hour straight after that. He didn't stop the entire rest of the episode.
No, it's a lot of fun. Hello, Dave. Good to see you, buddy. Or see you in the chat. But yes, back to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. What a game. Pirates. I was reminded of it last night because someone was going on. I was just randomly trawling through the internet, and someone started this thread about the all of the sea shanties that were singing in the game, and that was just, oh man, that soundtrack for that game, I still feel it. Right, it's still one of those songs that you can. I went back and played it last night. It was it had me going.
I was talking about that with my friends, actually. We were talking about the Assassin's Creed series. I'm like, Black Flag needs to be talked about more, because that game. It's super fun. You basically have two bases. You have your home base back on, I can't remember what the fuck the island is because it doesn't matter because I'm spending all of my time on the ship.
I get a shout out here, ladies and gentlemen. Alan from Interrupted Tales dropping $10 in the chat. Interrupted Tales is coming up a little bit later tonight as well, guys. $10 for video game talk, which more video game talk, right?
I need to talk more about video games.
Right?
I really do.
Right?
Well, that's the reason we started doing Shaken Not Noob was because Red Dead Redemption 2 was coming out, and we talked about it in the one of our secret podcast meetings. That we should talk about it as an episode, and everyone's like, "Nah, we want to talk movies. We want to focus on movies and pop culture, and video games kind of doesn't fit into that." And Dirty and I were like, "Fuck that! We need to be talking about this game right now."
Yeah,
and we did, and that game was amazing. I really loved that one.
I
but
played
yes,
it. I can't get into it. I recognize the amazingness that game is, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't connect with me.
See, I enjoyed it for the playthrough and the story, and I think it really connected with me in this sort of immersion factor. So it immerses you in the universe of being a cowboy and eating baked beans on the run, and cleaning your horse and feeding it an apple, but then I think when they put all of those mechanics into the multiplayer version, it just completely lost me. It's I don't need to be immersed in that. I want to just be robbing trains and holding up banks and shooting people in the streets. That was the fun parts of it, and I think they made the fun parts. It was work to get to them, so that immersion factor kind of went a little bit too far. They forgot what was fun about the games.
Right, it stopped being a game. It was more like a sim, and it's I don't want a sim. I want a game. Yeah,
that's right. And I think they kind of tried to have a bit of both, if you know what I mean. They tried to have it both ways, and it just didn't work. No. So, I mean, it was a great game, beautiful game, very hard drive intensive game. But
Dave in the chat, tell Ian to fuck off.
Oh, we do. Don't worry, I'll tell him to fuck off all the time. I'll tell him right now, Ian, fuck off. I'll text him.
Fuzzy, don't tell me that.
Wait, was that Terrence or Philip?
Yes.
Is that how he sounds to you?
Yeah, he sounds Canadian.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
damn
buddy.
Flappy head.
Hey, buddy, you gonna get that sausage?
Oh, wow.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes. So, though, Assassin's Creed, back to that. I just want to talk about it one more time because you go back to it now, and I will say the graphics have suffered a little, but the gameplay of it is still pretty awesome.
Wait, are you trying to tell me a game from 2013 doesn't look as great as the games from 2020? You get the fuck out of here.
It's one of those things that, I think this particular titles and this particular series, they always try and look pretty. And the problem with when you're a cutting edge graphics thing is eventually you're not going to be cutting edge anymore. Is Nick having a shower? What's going on?
What the fuck are you doing? I'm now ankle deep in water.
Getting wet on the podcast.
I didn't think it's literally where the porch is right above here. It's pouring right down through the thing. So I literally I thought I would be able to step out and kind of see how much it was raining, but that was
Well done. A bit of live action on the podcast. I love that.
Exactly.
It's great.
I'm here to entertain, Fuzzy, especially you.
Hey, I feel entertained. Thank you, buddy. So look, I want more from my Assassin's Creed games. I played the recent two, Odyssey and Origins.
Yes.
They're okay.
Sure.
They're okay. They're fine, but they just gave me things that I didn't particularly need in those games. So I'm excited for Valhalla. They sucker me in every time with these games. I always buy them. I bought every single one of them.
I don't know. After Unity, I was like, oh no. And then I played Syndicate, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like this. And then they're like, all right, we're taking a break. Fine, that works.
And best choice they ever made, because those two games were shit. It was exciting to see a change of pace with Origins, and then Odyssey was different again. So I'm excited to be a Viking in longboats and axes and all the rest of it. Very excited. Speaking of Odysseys, though, I do want to have one other honorable mention to a game that came out, Super Mario Odyssey. Now, did you get a chance to play this at all?
No, I really only got my Switch for Pokemon, and like other games just happen to be there too. Like Octopath Traveler. I played Octopath Traveler for about 30 hours. I like that game a lot.
Sure. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a throwback. That's all it is. It's just a throwback to old school RPGs, and I kind of loved it for that.
Yeah. Well, look, I enjoyed. Well, actually, I played a game recently that if you liked old school RPGs, you'll probably like this one. So we talked about it actually on this week's episode of Noob. So did you guys actually catch?
I have not yet.
So this week's episode of Noob, we talked about a bunch of like definitive editions because that's what everybody's bringing.
It's the new
out
hotness. Mafia. Here's 3 different versions of definitive editions: remaster, up-res, all the DLC. Okay, we got them all. Covered the spectrum.
Yeah, it is the definitive year for definitive editions. But this one came out and it was actually really good. Xenoblade Chronicles.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, this one came out in a previous Nintendo title, and they've redone it and they've rejigged it to current day graphics. So it was 2010, I think it came out, and they brought it up to speed now. It kind of looks like Sword and Shield a little bit with the graphical updates, but it's a really good JRPG. So if you're into that stuff, that's a really good game to pick up.
Yeah, I think it
highly
originally came
recommend
out for 3DS. That sounds right to me.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
even
So it's pretty old school. So like some of there's a very interesting combat system that they use with it, but it's a lot of fun as a JRPG. So strong recommend for that one. But yeah, Super Mario Odyssey. Like one of my favorite games for Super Mario Brothers was Mario Galaxy. Which came out on the Wii.
I'm hoping
that
those rumors
was
are true, bud. Those Mario rumors for like those collections. Oh my fucking god, that makes so much money.
Oh man, I would play the absolute pants out of Galaxy and Galaxy 2. Like they were just both amazing. But yes, absolutely the exciting game for this console generation is Super Mario Odyssey. It's perfect Mario Brothers. It's really exactly what you want. It's open world. It's like different multiple levels, multiple challenges. And when you finish the game, you go back and do it again because you get powers at the end of the game that unlock a whole bunch of different stuff. So you actually end up playing it through twice, and it's just as much fun for the experience.
Huge shout out for Deb Kinney, $10 donation in there. Thank you so much, Deb.
Beard stroke.
10
Yours 10. Get in there, Fuzzy. Get those fingers in there. Really dig in there. Mm-hmm. I don't have a beard anymore. Yeah. I told you I lost all this weight and I can't keep a beard anymore. It makes my face look too big now.
I will say, man, you are looking like man, just absolutely trim and terrific.
Thank you. I love you.
I saw your appearance on the Doctors. Like, mate, you're doing you're like just all over the place.
Man, you know who looked beautiful in that? Winners. Sexy bastard.
Hashtag drop the sugar, right?
Man. My sugar boy, he's going to be here later tonight. He wants to do 80s movie karaoke. God help me, guys. You're going to have to listen to me sing. If you donate enough money, I won't. So fill those coffers and I'll go away. I won't do it.
Oh wow, yes, no, that'll be awesome. That's bringing the crew back together, man. Like this is the old school Podfix Network crew.
Yes, yes, man.
Taking it back.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, I will just briefly mention that. Like, I looked back at the website recently, and I don't recognize any of the pods.
Oh no, not at all.
The only one I know anymore is Trish and Shauna, who were on last night, the two girls on the bench. And I made salsa, Fuzzy. I made salsa live on the air last night.
Man, I love watching your cooking stuff. Like you do some amazing food.
I miss it. Restaurant, or it's not restaurant anymore, but Nikolai's Kitchen, as it's now going to be called, is coming back. It is coming back. So stay tuned to a podcatcher near you.
Yes, excellent. Little sugar-free dishes, all right? It's just like no sugar whatsoever.
No, drop that sugar, baby. Hashtag drop that sugar. Mm-mm.
See, one of the things I got into recently in isolation was baking. Like I love baking, and I've been baking fruit pies. So apple pie.
Dude, those pies, let me tell you, those pies you've been posting pictures of, dude, Dude, stop it. Stop it. I'm going to fly to Australia and I'm going to eat every single bite.
There is so much fucking sugar in those things.
I know. Oh, God. Oh, man.
But that's what makes them delicious. And
They
it's
look
just great.
so
a little
good,
bit of
dude.
like vanilla ice cream on top.
The
Little
way it's
a la
perfect,
mold.
man. The way it's perfect is the crust on those when you bake those is so golden brown. It looks like that you literally clipped pictures out of a goddamn magazine. I'm just like, Fuzzy, stop. Don't you dare post any more pie ever.
So good. I'm gonna make one tonight, actually. So I make it all from scratch. All the crust is made from scratch.
That's how it's done, baby. That's how it's done.
Yeah, it's exciting. I love it. Oh, it's so good. I love that's again giant beard, giant belly. It's all isolation for me, baby. Oh wow. All right, let's get back to video games because I've got a couple more to mention that I want to talk about.
Ooh.
Another big title that came out, which is another one of those ones that the console buyers, right? You buy the console specifically for this game, Spider-Man, which came out recently on the PlayStation. This is a game that I actually sold my old PlayStation, just like the original PlayStation 4 to Duty, my podcast host for.
Yes, Mr. Xbox.
Yeah, he's Mr. Xbox. He doesn't play anything on PlayStation except for Spider-Man. It's his Spider-Man machine, he calls it.
I kind of
Mate,
like
I need
too.
to hear more of the impressions from you. That's fantastic.
This is
Very
me,
Crocodile
I'm
Dundee, but
I'm Duty. 9.6 Aquaman.
oh man, don't even get me started on that one. But yeah, Spider-Man. What a game that was. We've had a couple of interesting goes at Spider-Man in the past, but I think they really like this one. Just knocked it out of the park. It's beautiful. It's it's amazing to get.
Feels great.
Yeah, it's a natural game. The story was fun. Like there was a bunch of cool stuff with all the different skins where you could be different Spider-Man from different universes.
God. Favorite skin?
Yeah. My favorite skin, I kind of liked the Ghost Rider one where he was all in white and he had the flaming skull. That was kind of cool. And there was also the, I think it was the 2049 one where he's like, he's got like the big spikes on his arms and stuff. Yeah. That was pretty cool as well. So the Iron Spider, obviously really cool with the big claws coming out the back.
My favorite is the comic book version. That one looks so good all the time. It's amazing.
That was actually a lot of fun because it had all the quips coming as well. Like every time you beat somebody up, that was a special power. Was you just like put in a Spidey quip, and it was pretty cool. A nice way that they just amalgamated all of those different genres into it. So yeah, really fun game, and it's one of those ones that if you're into Spider-Man lore, like that's the game to play.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a $50 donation from Cambo, and they said Nick got to get to $10,000, and that puts us a little bit closer. 67.75, guys. You realize, you guys understand this. We are only $225 away from more hashtag moonshine for Drew. Drew Hallam's coming back in here, and we're going to have him drink even more moonshine.
That's 50 beer strokes, too.
Man.
Well, I'm not drinking moonshine today. I'm drinking whiskey, but
because you're a beautiful, sophisticated son of a bitch. That's why.
That's the other thing I've got into in isolation: drinking expensive whiskey. It's a great hobby. All it requires is a lot of money and a mouth.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. It's like you want to go to the store and you want to get yourself a great bottle, and you're just like, ooh, okay. Yeah. But then you taste that sip, and you're just like, this is all worth it.
Absolutely is. And I don't know if you guys like them. I'm getting into like my Scottish whiskies. And specifically the stuff from Islay, which is all of the Lagavulins and stuff like that.
You can talk to Caleb for hours about Lagavulin.
Yeah, Caleb had Lagavulin yesterday during the Netflix and Slow segment.
So I've got this one, the Carl Ela, which is fantastic. It's liquid gold. So yes. Enjoying that this morning. It is still prior to 10 a.m. here, but I thought I'd get into the spirit. I've had my coffee, and
God bless you, Fuzzy Dan. God bless you. I love you so much. My God.
And I'm just drinking it out of my fancy new diamond-shaped tumbler. So it's pretty. Yeah,
it's fancy guy.
Man alive.
Classy the fuck up, as I like to say.
Oh my Lord.
I want to bring up a game because I don't think you're gonna bring it up. I'm going to be very upset. It is my game of the decade, actually. It's Horizon Zero Dawn, because to me,
It's
there's
on my
nothing-
list. It's on my list.
Okay, good. But like, I was worried for a bit. But like, I love running around with a bow and arrow and just shooting robot dinosaurs. That gameplay loop is so much fun.
Yeah, it's. I think the first time I played that game, the one thing I wanted to do was get to the T-Rex. Like that was my first objective, and I remember getting there and going, "Oh man, there's this T-Rex walking around like almost like the Colorado desert or something like
Yeah.
that." And it's just, and it was just, and you're like, "Okay, yeah, let's just go attack it," and it just annihilates you. There's missiles and laser beams, and you get destroyed. But when you finally like level up enough to like shoot it with tethers and like all these electrical arrows and all the rest of it, that's so much fun.
Oh my
Such
god.
a good game.
Yeah, shooting 3 arrows at one time. Oh my god. Like you start with those like like the little Velociraptor watcher things, and you're like, "Oh, this game's easy." Like, I wish it gets harder. And then you get to that thing, you're like, "Holy fuck! I wish this game was easier."
Look, there was so much cool stuff about that, like taming dinosaurs as well. Like you're riding these things, and like just like the entire world that they built. It was wow,
Oh, yeah.
just so much fun. I think that was one of those ones that, again, as a console buyer, you buy it specifically for that game. And this, I think, as far as exclusive titles go, like PlayStation for this generation really knocked it out of the park. Like they kept bringing out titles like that, like Spider-Man. They really
God of War.
wanted to do, like all of those ones console exclusive, and they were just perfect.
Well, that's why they sold 107 million. I think it's the new updated number.
And that's why I really, 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 really wanted to get a PS4 when they released, part 1 of 75 of the Final Fantasy VII remake that they released. Because like all the footage I watched of that game on Twitch was just absolutely glorious. But I don't own a PS4. Well, I don't own any console now. But like, I don't want to wait a year for it.
Yeah.
But then by the time the next one comes out, they'll release it for the PS5 as well. Like, so I might as well just get the PS5 when it comes out and then just get both. You know? Like,
no,
just
that's
get
fair enough.
Both parts.
Well, look, I will say, as somebody who played the original series and had to deal with the original Final Fantasy VII, had to deal with that thing of where you change the discs, and hoping that the save file like actually stayed in there.
Yeah.
Like I had it crash on me twice, and
I remember you saying that
it.
on Noob too. I remember you talking about that with Duty and everything. And Alan, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm going to cry in the tread. You son of a bitch. You mentioned Eris. Damn it. Alan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, look, it's a fabulous title, and I really did enjoy the new release of Final Fantasy VII. It's a completely different game. The problem I had with it was not the whole story, and I was expecting more of the story in there, and the fact that they were very cagey about how many episodes are coming out afterwards. We're going to see at least. I think they're going to do 3 parts. Like that, they can't
have no
do
idea.
any more than that.
Like remember,
I think, like Midgar's 10% of the story though. But like I mean, but then it's a question of, are they going to flesh every part of the game out like they did with Midgar, or was Midgar like they just wanted to put more into Midgar? Because realistically, like for as big and as huge as Midgar is in the original game, you get none of it.
Oh yeah.
So are they only going to develop that portion of the game, and the rest of it's going to be just a more upscaled version of the original, or are they going to go back and they're going to revamp everything? Because then you're looking like installments like for days and days. You know,
they could continue to just release it. Hey, I just want
the goddamn gold saucer on like the PS5. I just want.
You just want to date Barrett.
Yeah, I want to go on a date with Barrett at the Gold Saucer in the new version, because man alive, they nailed everything about that game that they did nail. And some things that maybe they didn't or whatever. The character voices and the character personalities from the original game, perfect. Every single character is perfect. I love it.
Well,
and it's the fact that they've I suppose they've upscaled it. They've given them an actual voice instead of reading text. Like you don't realize like how long and slow those games can be when you're just reading the whole time. Their voice acting was spectacular. The character development was awesome. They delve a lot more into the character development in this because these characters can emote properly, and it's beautiful. It plays really well. The combat's fun. It's a good, solid, like, this is a, like, you know, when we talk about definitive editions this year, this is a remastering, complete rebuild from the ground up. And it's, the experience is still as fun, even if it's not that entirety of like what the original release came out with. So
Yeah.
I'm still going to buy the next version. It's still going to be awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
But yes, I'm aware we're running on in time, so I wanted to get to my number one game for this last generation, and it is a PlayStation exclusive. We did talk about it briefly before. It is God of War, is my my number one game for this gen. Wow, just everything about that game was so cool. I previously didn't really enjoy a lot of the God of War series. I just didn't get into it. But what they did with this one, with Kratos and his son, and just this all of this mythology that they built around it, and with the axe, like the axe is one of the most amazing game elements I've ever enjoyed. So it's kind of like what you want a game with Thor's hammer to be. Like, it's this Mjolnir, but it's axe form. It's just, it's so freaking good. It's one of those games I went back and just continued to play. I did all of the post-story stuff, so I went back and defeated all the Valkyries.
Yep.
And only this year defeated the Queen, the Valkyrie Queen. Like, that was just, she is an absolute, just like one of the hardest things I've ever had to defeat in a video game ever. She's so nasty because she combines all of the aspects of all of the other 8 Valkyries, and just is just awesome. So yeah, I can't recommend God of War enough. I think it's just a perfect game, from the pacing of the story to the style of the action to the RPG elements. It has everything, just the right amounts of everything put into one thing. Just so good. Did you, obviously you played it, Dan?
Actually, I haven't. I own it, but I haven't played it. I know.
Yeah, I have never played.
I know.
A God of War game. The closest I've ever come to God of War is just seeing Duty when he was ripped out, shredded at the gym.
That's true. So here's the problem. I don't like God of War, the original trilogy. Like, it's just like a button mash, smash everything.
Yeah.
And when you see
no.
like a reboot of God of War come along, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. But then you see it actually is a game as opposed to press buttons a billion times. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely want that.
Well, see, and I think they saw that, and like the previous titles, I wasn't a big fan of either, but I like the character and the development they go through, and it was very much, it brought me to that game, and I was like, I'll give it a chance. And what they do with it, there is a style that you go through and potentially button mash a lot of stuff, but you will never win. You will never get to the point you need to be. You need to actually have tactics and approach to how you do it. The customization of all of your weapons and armor are very specific to your play style. So you can have different buffs or debuffs and all the rest of it that apply to you to make you a more efficient at what you want to do. And just that tactical aspect of it and how you have to approach each battle. Yeah, it's so awesome. And then there's a scene where there's a level where you go around this place, which is basically covered in like a poisonous mist. And it's like a big maze, and so you're going through defeating all these characters within this maze while your health is slowly going down. And it's just you can't just run in there and go gung ho. You have to go in there and be tactical about it and find the approach that works for you. And it's, when you have that in a game, that's epic. Like that gives you something to aim at, to target for. And I love it. I think it's one of the most smart games that you'll find in this generation.
It is installed on my PS4 right now, so I am ready to play it as soon as this is over. Like, as soon as Livestream for the Cure is done, it's there. Quick shout out, Death Stranding, the most unique game of the generation. Like, it's one of those games that I can't recommend to anybody. You have to play it first to like even understand if you would like it, because like, you're just a UPS guy, basically. That's all. You're a delivery guy, and whether or not that feels
bizarre,
good to you,
right?
Yeah, I can't recommend it to anybody, but I'm like, this game is so good, and I couldn't believe it until I actually played it for myself.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones, like, I played as part of a review I did for the magazine I write for, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I hate it. I don't know what to feel about it, but I continually play it. Right. And I've played I've played 20 to 30 hours of it so far, and there's still lots to go. It's really interesting. It drags you in, it suckers you in with a really cool idea, and yeah, I think that's just awesome.
Oh yeah, I love
So,
it. I
yeah.
beat the story. I'm trying to platinum it at some point because I just love it that much. It's so bizarre.
I love some of the gameplay elements where it's multiplayer but not, so you can share developed environments with other players.
Yeah, here's my materials. Let's build a road together, everybody.
It's and like I've developed a lot of stuff, and then I built one bridge in one specific place that was really easy for me to get from point A to point B, and everybody liked it, and I got a bunch of development points, and it's weird. It's a weird social media experiment more than it is a game, but that's what you expect from Kojima. Like, he just does some weird stuff. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what his next prospect is.
God,
like, he'll come up with something weird, and it'll be a weird and wonderful game. After like the last like Metal Gear Solid, like I loved 5. I thought it was great, but it was very divisive for a lot of people. So Metal Gear Solid 5, Death Stranding, absolutely great games.
Fuzzy Dan, you beautiful, absolutely majestic man. By the way, we did get another donation in there a short time ago from Midori Pro, $5 Whiskey Appreciation Club. Shout out to you, Fuzzy D.
Clinky.
There you go, baby. So before we run away, before we get out of here, I'm thrilled you guys are getting back in the studio, by the way, but please tell the audience a little bit about where they can find Shaken Not Nerd and Shaken Not Noob out there on the web.
Yeah, sure. So we are at Shaken Not Nerd on all of the things. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We post up a bunch of video game reviews, a bunch of different things about movies that we're watching. We also have a listener community on Facebook, which has been really fun, where we get our listeners to vote on movies that we should watch. Now that no movies are out, we can't decide on what we want to watch each week, so we make you guys pick it for us. So you can join our listener community and just watch us post memes all the time and give each other shit. It's quite a lot of fun. All of our meme chat has moved from a private chat to that listener community, which is great. So yeah, check it out. So if you check out Shaken Not Nerd on your podcatcher, you will also get the Noob channel. We post in there as well. So it is Mondays and Fridays. You will get new episodes each week. So 2 episodes for the price of 1. It's pretty good.
It is absolutely. It's amazing. You guys do an absolutely amazing job, both on Nerd and on Noob. Both of them are absolutely amazing. So I really, really appreciate you taking some time again to be here for Livestream for the Cure. You know that you're one of my favorite people. I absolutely love you. Please come back literally every single year, over and over and over again. I will never, ever turn you down.
Oh, I see it, buddy.
Ever. No matter what you want. For anything.
As soon as that email came through this year, like, you're like, hey, we're doing live stream from the Cure. I think within 5 minutes, I was like, yep, fucking sign me up.
If you're gonna make me pie, then I will.
I tell you what, Baking with Fuzzy will be next year's edition. We'll do some baking.
Yes,
it'll be great.
I need to get over. I need to get over into that Shaken Not Nerd listener community and post more random Simpsons memes, because that's our language, Fuzzy. That's all we speak together. That's all we speak. Thank you so much for being here, brother. I love you. Thank you so much. You're the man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you both. Have fun.
Peace, brother.